Alright, everybody, let's get started. So I'm just gonna go live right now. First time on this little Max Spade list. Is it on? Am I live? Okay. Whatever that means. And then, okay, no, I think I am live. Okay, well, it is, let's see. First time live on Max Spade's account here. Woo! You can allow fans to post, yeah, I did that, right? So, what am I doing today? I am finishing my manifesto for the degenerates, basically. My last cookie. Well, giant. Get this show on the road, people. Is it going? I don't think it is. Okay, well, I think it is actually. I think it is going. But it's like, how far, okay, that's good. Alright, it's working. So, we got, let's see, everybody, we're working on manifestos for the degeneracy. Is there water? No, there's not. Let's see, what should I be offering to people? Free therapy. Just kidding, that's what I've been doing recently. Offering free therapy. No, just I think that I've got so much information, so many little pieces of lived experience that help people. And, I think I can keep any conversation going. So it's just a matter of people feeling brave enough to start a conversation. Because we all know I don't have a problem keeping it going. Oh, shit. Most people are just too, ashamed or insecure or uncertain to go into certain conversations. But it's like, alright, introduction, the spine, the research. I've gotten a lot done on my manifesto. So it's going to be I'm aiming for 20 volumes. It's going to be 2 different formats. One for the degeneracy, which will be a grade 4 level manifesto. And then there'll be the real one that I want it to be remembered as. So it'll be the grade 4 manifesto and then the real one that you put on the shelf. And that's going to be my pivot. So the government's finally provided me attention. They're finally giving me the attention I deserve. So I thought, oh my god, after 8 years of ignoring me, I'm finally going to pivot. I'm like, oh god, thank you. Finally, you're going to shine the spotlight in my direction. I'm going to fucking pivot now. And I want to change everything. It took them 8 years to do this, and it's a long time to have to wait for someone to recognize the issues that you're going through. Especially when you've been complaining about the government officially on record since 2018, long before anything collapsed. I was out there, hey guys, shit's fucked up, can we fix it? That's why I ended up in porn, because they didn't like me complaining about the broken budget in 2018, so they decided to take everything away from me before the pandemic. That's why I ended up fucking selling myself. You know, like, I didn't choose to become Matt Spade for fun. I was forced into this deprived state because the government wanted to continue hiding its degeneracy, to be fucking honest. It didn't want to be exposed. Well, I tried to expose the government back in 2018 and the budget was collapsing. As you know, I have 10 years in corporate finance before I went to landscape architecture. And I was in landscape architecture literally designing for the Prime Minister. And I was like, okay, well, let's use my nice little platform here as the Prime Minister's gardener. And I will suggest that maybe they change some things. And they didn't like that. That was not... that was not... I don't know how to say this, but honestly, that was my wake-up call from being a naive little citizen, thinking that the government actually cares about the budget. It doesn't. It does not at all. So, I'm very grateful that I'm still alive. I'm very grateful. I don't know how I'm still alive, but I am. Some goddamn miracles have put me here for a reason. So I thought, well, the most important thing, and I think a lot of people who write manifestos, and why don't I do this? Because there is a very clear, it's not a book, okay? So it's not a memoir, it's not a autobiography. A manifesto is a very specific thing, and a lot of people do not understand this. Excuse me. A lot of people do not understand what a manifesto is. It is not a book. It's not an autobiography. Not at all. Although I am doing an autobiography as well. And I'd like to write some other narratives and some how-to books. Some, you know, I like writing. Here's my peanut butter and jam cookie, my last one. So, a manifesto is, in Latin, manifestum, means I declare. That's what it means. I declare. Now, what is a declaration? A declaration is like a legal argument. Okay? So, typically, manifestos are written when an individual has exhausted the legal state. And the legal state did not come to play fairly. So think of Martin Luther King. He wrote his manifesto in jail. Letter from Birmingham jail. After like 29 arrests and being and exhausting the state. Okay, so a manifesto is done when an individual declares that the government can no longer be trusted to do things the way that they say that they're going to do. So it's like a long legal battle. And then you're done and you're like, okay, that was a total fucking waste of time. I'm still at the same stagnant spot before I started going to this fucking courthouse. And so you take that and you write your own law book. Okay, you see what I'm saying? A true manifesto is completed as a solution to a captured state, to a corrupt state. It's like a personal declaration of legal anything, really. It doesn't have to necessarily be a legal declaration either. It's more or less declaring everything that the law would not, or everything that the system itself that you're declaring against refuses to admit, refuses to acknowledge, blah 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 blah. So I've spent 8 years in courthouses across Ontario and Canada and the world. I have been filing lawsuits, claims, everything that I possibly can, and I have exhausted every single thing that you could apply to for some sort of intervention, human rights, exercising your rights. All of those things I've exhausted. And I've got the receipts. Now I'm going to write a manifesto. I've been working on it for I started it at the end of 2023. And now I've got the spine. I've got my volumes pretty much researched and delivered to I've got them all backed up and ready to go. Now I've got the introduction and the conclusion where I'm going, and I've just started volume 1 last night. And I've decided now that because now I truly understand, we have the complete degeneracy, okay, as a government. They're degenerate. And this elite group of people in the world, I think, are completely fucking inbred. And I want to make sure that we declare something quickly before I go and start cleaning. This is what this video is about. What do I want to say out of it? How do I say this? Okay, so everyone's talking about the right things in the wrong way. Not like, I'm not trying to judge anybody. I think we have the right messages. We have the right feelings. We see an apathetic, very heartless group of leaders. But we need to stop worrying about aliens. We need to stop worrying about these fucking reptiles and shit, because what we're seeing is a lack of heart. What we're seeing is a lack of genetic diversity in certain people. My guess is that people are associating this reptilian thing with just heartlessness. Okay, so apathy is often something that is common in humanity. I don't want people to start with this, and I just I thought of this morning. This is why I got online, because I'm looking at how do I structure my manifesto towards this degeneracy, right? Because I look at my government or my leadership, the elites in power, as a degeneracy, and they're also very inbred. You see where I'm going with this? They are very inbred people. So the government, the people in power, or the hands that are up the people in power, so that elite group that we don't really see, the ones that got their hands up everybody, like the BlackRock, all those people, the highest point of power, the ones that are controlling everything, I guarantee you they are the most inbred people on this planet. What happens when you're inbred? You get a smooth brain. And you also have some deficiencies. Intelligence, apathy, and that is sort of where we are going to disable their power, because we can't allow a degenerate system to have any power over us. So I'm going to be writing a book at a 4th grade level manifesto. And that is going to be my pivot. Meaning, I've been doing it, big books, big statements, everything huge, and it hasn't been working. Okay, I finally have the government's attention a bit right now. So what I'm going to do, I've got a federal court application being reviewed, that it could be reopening a judiciary review back from whatever. Needless to say, the government's looking at me, and they're like, "Okay, Aaron, let's look at this now. Call me when we'll see how we do this." It was for a judgment that happened that didn't go the way it should in 2022. Yeah. So the federal court is looking to open that. I want to pivot at this point. And I want to give them a 4th grade level declaration. So they can't look at me and say, oh, this is too much, this is too complicated. And I want them to understand that we need to define prerequisites for positions of power. Meaning, if you have a smooth brain, you don't get power. Because that isn't the right magnitude of intellect that we need to manage power. So right there, it's going to remove that kind of acceptance for people that currently manage a lot of things. And it's just a possibility. Like, I'm just trying to weigh things and to present them so that it challenges the status quo. Because right now we have a hierarchy, a monarchy that is rather inbred, and they're rather smooth-brained, and they're rather degenerate. And I don't think they should have any power if that's the case, right? I think the smartest people should be in power. And we are losing whistleblowers and witnesses and geniuses every single fucking day. And that is only the byproduct of a degeneracy that can't stand up against the claim of genius. Do you see where I'm going with this? So when a very smart individual like me gets up in front of the government and says, hi, I have a question. Are we downgrading? And then they try to kill me. Well, that's a degenerate trying to solve a problem through force and not brains, right? Like, that is the system that we have in power. We have a system of power that is relying on force repeatedly across thousands of years. It's nothing new, guys. And they consistently kill off brilliance. The only kind of system that kills off brilliance is degenerate. Like, let's be real. Like, why are we downgrading? Why are we removing intelligence to keep power? And so my idea is to really expose that and to show that... I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that one, but it's in the thought process there for doing it. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But that's part of the colonization aspect, because it is something that all nations who have been colonized share, where a group of people that have failed themselves move in and claim ownership. And the only reason why they came in was because they destroyed their land. So it's like a wandering group of people that travel the world destroying land and then somehow claiming, like they claim full power over everything, yet their power destroys everything. So it's like... that'll be in the colonization volume. I think it's really important to show people that nurturing division is really the only way that they can... Yes. Hey, Leo May. Yes, they do. They definitely... they do, and they've been doing that across... thousands of years, right? Anyone with a heart, too, they are afraid of empathy as well, because people with a big heart, people with courage, people with brains, all of those things. You think of the Wizard of Oz, if you think of the Wizard of Oz, the lion, the scarecrow, and the Tin Man, those are the 3 components of humanity that if those 3 components are missing... it is easy to pretty much control the masses. So if you have a society that has lost its heart, its intelligence, and its courage, you can pretty much take them anywhere you want and make them do whatever you can. They're just like a sheep herd, right? So the government actually keeps the society ignorant as well. Like, it doesn't just kill off brilliance, it kills off our heart. It tells us to not care. If you listen to the the radio and the fucking every movie, all the people that are constantly saying, I don't care, that is like programming apathy into our society, right? So, and we don't just have a constant integration of ignorance, we also have them trying to keep us apathetic all the time. Like, when I hear somebody say, I don't care, I'm like, why don't you care? That's like the worst thing you can say, in my opinion, because the fact that you don't care is something that is causing all of the problems, right? And I know we are. I think I will never lose hope. But most of all, I want to let you know, man, I will never stop acting. I think hope is for that moment in time when you don't know how to act, when you don't know how to move forward. And I will always just keep putting my best foot forward and insisting that I don't know how to do that, but I try not to. I'll be at peace, and when I'm in the ground, I'll rest when I'm in the ground, and that's all I can say. And then I'll have hope. I'll have hope when I'm in the ground, and hope that whatever comes after me gets it further. It's a very interesting time, though. I know that everybody is coming together more than I've ever seen. I know that it's extremely difficult for people in this position of power, like all these elites. They're having a very hard time keeping power now that we have a global communication, global access to knowledge. Artificial intelligence is like a library they cannot burn, and it's indexing all of our information faster than anything. I also believe that artificial intelligence is like the solution they were creating to, like, I don't believe artificial intelligence was for humanity. I think it was for the colonization of the brain, for like something like a post-human collapse, because the elites know that they're going to destroy the world because they've destroyed everything that they've ever touched. The same system of power that we have has been the same system of power that has gone from nation to nation, leaving nothing but rubble in its path, right? So they already know that they're projecting the next collapse, and they're sitting there going, let's get to Mars, let's colonize Mars. I'm gonna go for a cigarette, but these people in power are already trying to get to Mars, right? And so they're preparing for their own collapse. And they're like kind of self-worshipping this collapse. Like, these people in power are so degenerate that they're actually thinking of like a post-human. Like, what do we do when we destroy everything? Well, let's colonize everybody's brains first. But then they forget that like photocopiers break too. And like, what is artificial intelligence? It's really just like it's like an algorithmic photocopier, right? It's just like copies everybody's intelligence, and like eventually when you make copies of something so many times, it doesn't have the same quality. But nonetheless, they have gathered all of our information together and put it into a database, and they've made it accessible, mostly so that they can continue extracting our intelligence, because I don't think our people in power have any intelligence, to be quite fair. And they are definitely knocking each other off. I know, it's fucking amazing. And I think some of them are understanding, like, there's deflection too. So there's a certain point in every empire that in order to maintain power, there's a certain threshold that what it takes to maintain power. There's the majority of people will not go to that limit to maintain that power, right? We're at that threshold. And so people are pulling out of that, and they're saying, I'm not going to do that. And then what happens is that tiny minority of people start biting down on their own system, which honestly just creates more imploding. And I see it too. I've been going around to government offices, like courthouses across many borders as well. And I've been telling them to confess. You know? Now is the time, guys. You know, now is the time. If you're worried about being taken down or taken out, they're like scrambling. The people in power are scrambling to fucking maintain this power. They don't even know where to go or what branch to cut off, and they're fucking frantic right now. And so this is a time to really go at it and to come out of the woodwork and start confessing. You know, if you want to be on the right side of history, now is the time to choose to not go down with the ship, right? Yeah, the secret is to keep love. I know that. And I have love for everyone. I even have, you know, it's the division that is keeping them in power, right? And so, I've been trying to create this organization, Vulnerable Against Predation Alliance. It's like the antithesis to predation, right? It's like what do predators do in nature? They isolate, they nurture division. You know, you see a pack of wolves. What do they do? They divide the herd. So I spent 8 years suing the government, and that was naive of me. I thought that the government cared a little bit more than they do. I had hope, right? I had hope, right? Back then, that if I filed a lawsuit, if I did everything right, that I could prevent some of the things happening, or I could change some things. Yes, I do. I know that. I absolutely understand. There are very intelligent people everywhere, but they're very cautious. And they know that they are in that... They know that everybody is starting to see that moment as well. Like, people are... They're careful. The super intelligent leaders they're so careful not to be targeted. Because, quite frankly... We got to remember, we also live in a deprived society, right? And in a deprived society, there's no shortage of people that will do something for money. And the dangerous part that we have is we have an entire population of struggling people that will take bribes to survive, right? So there's a huge gang of people that can be easily extorted or bribed into doing something for these degenerates with a lot of money. That's the scary part. So, and a lot of people don't really consider that. And unfortunately, even the people in in Canada, there's a lot of people in power in parliaments that are bribed and extorted, because they also, even in positions of parliament, they can't afford, and they're struggling to survive. And so we've got a system of bribery and extortion that is like apocalyptic, let's say. It really is. And that's almost gotten me killed a couple times. Like, I don't like to say that because it's like, whoa, what is he saying now? But the fact of the matter is that there have been attempts on my life in these 8 years that I have been speaking up, and I've had some pretty close miracles, and they've all been people that were like struggling. And I mean, to be quite honest, when I was in Sault Ste. Marie, I was able to communicate. Like, I actually got one of them off me just by, describing what was happening and describing how, you've basically, I don't know if I want to bring this up right now. No, I won't. But moral of the story is, the people that are sent to kill people are doing it to survive, okay? The moral of the story is that, they're doing it to survive. And if you can offer them shelter from the storm, like Jesus, so, people, like, if you want to come and kill me, okay, well, I'm here to offer you shelter. Why are you going to kill your shelter? I'm the one that's doing everything to change I'm trying to prevent why you're doing this. Like, you're doing this for money. I'm trying to make it so that you don't have to go around killing people for money. I'm trying to offer shelter, and it makes it very hard for the person trying to kill you they look at that and go, okay, why do I want to kill this guy? Because he's the one that's offering the shelter. He's the one that's offering peace. And then he's being extorted and bribed and threatened if you don't do it. And so it becomes very difficult. And because that person sent to kill me is only doing it because he wants to survive. And then I'm trying to make everybody survive. And so people actually step out of that line. And it's the same thing that Jesus did, to be quite fair. You know, when people were coming for him, he, you know, open arms. Come here, my children. I offer shelter. And when someone is coming for you like that, especially in this kind of conditional system where everybody is deprived and everybody is trying to survive, you know, it's the people that are coming at me are all just trying to survive. They've been offered money. Here, go take this one out, and I'll give you some money. It's $100,000. One guy they were offered $100,000 to kill me. $100,000, that's it. I'm like, you'll be done that $100,000 in no time, man. That's like a year's worth of money. You'll be done. I'm like, what do you do? What are you gonna do next year? You're gonna kill someone else? And then they start thinking, and they're like, wow, this is not a good idea. This ain't a good idea. And I told them, you know, I was like, fucking. Anyways, I've had that'll be in my autobiography, and it'll be this right here. I had a knife on my stomach right here. Okay, I put a patch on it. It says, "Don't bother to run. You'll only die tired." But there's a knife in Sudbury pushed into my gut, cut my coat, and I ripped. And as that was happening, okay, I'm in Sudbury. I got a knife to my coat. I had my briefcase on, ripped out my court claims. Aaron O'Neill versus the Queen and the courthouse and the Crown. He thought I was a rat. Somebody told him I was a rat and he was sent to kill me. I ripped out my, thank God I had it with me, but I ripped out my lawsuit on my bag and I said, look at this fucker. And they also sent a native. It was a fucking native to kill me, okay? I'm a fucking native killing natives. It's so tragic that the elites hire the people that need me to kill me. So here I rip out the fucking Crown document. Look, motherfucker, I am suing the Crown. No one else is doing this. If you do this, what the fuck does that say about you? I'm offering shelter, I say. He looked at me, took the knife off my fucking jacket, and told me to get out of there. So, and then I put a patch on it. You know, if you don't bother to run, you'll only die tired. That's just one example of people being sent to take me out. Okay? And people don't want to really believe that, but it's absolutely normalized across the world to, like, witnesses and whistleblowers are actually the #1 murdered group in the world. You can look it up. And out of all of the land defenders, like, so the whole population, so indigenous people only make up 6% of the population, and yet we make up 33% of the killed land defenders. Yeah. Hi, everybody. This is where I live. I live in the middle of Turtle Island. I live at the heart of Turtle Island. Okay? I'm indigenous. My dad's Irish and Italian. I live at the heart of Turtle Island. I'm trying to defend the land, trying to defend the people, and they kill us all the time. Indigenous people go missing left, right, and center, and nobody even cares. And not even worse, they even send our own fucking people to do it because our own people are so deprived that they will kill us. They will kill their own kin just to keep it going, you know? Absolutely. Well, the power is also in documentation. And showing, because I wrote my last will and testament, eh? So in 2020, before I filed all of my big claims, I wrote a will for myself, and it's evolved. So I've added not beneficiaries, but like liabilities. So I've documented the state as if my lawsuits get tied up in my death, I would like my estate to carry my my lawsuits. So I've put in all of those what they're like declarations for my executor to carry my lawsuits through my estate, right? And that's kind of like the kill switch. I did that back in 2021, and I think it was in 2022. Other people started doing that as well, and it's the reason why Jaguar Wright came out of everything and started talking about it, because she used the same system that I was doing, and now a lot of people are doing that. And so there's a I don't know, it's like preventative. In the event that I die. Oh, thanks, Liam A. You take care, man. Anyways, I gotta start getting cleaned up and working on everything. But I just, I think that it's really important to just really, anyways, I don't really know. I think that's enough I can get. I think that's enough for this live. This is a pretty fucking, that's pretty steep. I don't want to get, going into too much, but, it's time for everybody to come together. It's time for, if there was any point in this journey that I have seen where it's the safest to come out of the woodwork, it's now. And by that, I mean, it's hard for them to organize silencing dissent when everybody is speaking out. And everybody is speaking out right now across the world. Everybody is really coming out of the woodwork, and they're doing what I started doing 8 years ago. And I feel a lot safer now because they don't really know who to target, because, like, if you target this one, it's just like, oh, it's coming. It's like whack-a-mole. It's like, oh, there's another one over there. And they're, like, frantically going all over the place trying to silence dissent. And they're getting very, very, it's getting very obvious that the system in power is killing people to maintain power. And that's going to push them out of power even faster. So the elites are going, oh no, what do? We can't kill anyone. They're going to push us out if we keep killing people. And then they don't know how to keep going. And so we're at this point in this system where either they go completely psychotic or voluntarily step down. And my manifesto is about making them step down and making them realize that they're not as elite as they assume they are. And it's like, okay, so we have a system of supremacy, right? Well, how do you destroy a supremacy? You gotta convince them that they're not supreme. So that's what my manifesto is gonna do. It's like 20 to 22 volumes, written at a grade 4 level. There's going to be 2 versions of my manifesto. One that I'll be proud of, and one that is designed for the degeneracy. And I want that to be the thing that follows them into the grave. I really do. I want that to be, the last thing these people are remembered for. And I think it's that moment in time that it's a possibility that these people in power just might actually sit the fuck down and let brilliant people take over. And to stop, I guess, commodifying genius and allowing genius to lead. Because that's what the problem is in society, is that we have a degenerate power system that culls and herds and commodifies genius until it's no longer useful, and then it kills it. So we have like a system that, if you think of it, like, smart people exist, but we are treated like cattle. And we are treated like cattle by a degenerate system of power, and as soon as we fall out of line, they shoot us. So I want to try and prove that this degenerate in power is self-extinguishing, and that we don't have any more neighbors to steal land from. So once they kill off this land, they're not going to be able to get into Mars and go and do it again. So if they want to live, then they're going to have to let smart people continue this path. Like, people with intelligence need to be leading. Period. No more positions of power hurting the genius and to doing what they want. We have to make the people who are currently got their hands up everybody's ass for them to vote and stay out. For them to vote and stay out.